Hi, my name is Ahmad Al-Assad, and this video is part of the Visual Studio 2012 Application Life Cycle Management hands-on labs provided by Microsoft. And this video about making developers more productive with Visual Studio Team Foundation Server 2012. In this video, I'll cover multiple topics in 6 hands-on lab exercises. The labs show how Visual Studio 2012 and Team Foundation Server 2012 help. The labs show how Visual Studio 2012 and Team Foundation 2012 help team members to become more productive as they code and collaborate with each other. The exercises also introduce you to some new features in Visual Studio 2012 and TFS 2012, such as code reviews, suspend and resume work items, local workspace, and the new dialog to merge code conflicts. And during the labs, we will also touch different areas in managing our work items. To do the exercises, you need to download Visual Studio 2012 Virtual Machine provided by Microsoft. You can download that from Brian Keller's website. In this lab, I'll do the following exercises: Team Explorer Overview, My Work, Local Workspaces, Pending Changes, Suspend and Resume, Code Reviews, and Merge. Exercise 1. Team Explorer Overview. Team Explorer is the primary way for Visual Studio to communicate with TFS. In this exercise, we will show the new look of Team Explorer in Visual Studio 2012 and some of the changes made to it. And now, let's go through the exercise. And we'll be using the username Julia, and the password is uppercase P, number 2, SSW, the number 0, RD. Now we'll launch Visual Studio. So you can launch it from the taskbar, or go to the Start menu, All Programs, expand the Visual Studio 2012 folder, and click on Visual Studio 2012. Now open Team Explorer by clicking on the Team Explorer tab at the bottom. Now if Team Explorer doesn't exist at this flyout, let's say it's closed and it doesn't exist, you can open it from View, from the View menu, and click on Team Explorer. Notice that the high-level nodes in Team Explorer and Visual Studio 2012 are so similar to the ones in the previous version of Visual Studio. The only addition here is the Pending Changes node. There have been a lot of performance improvements in Visual Studio 2012, as many of the operations run asynchronously. Notice when I click the Documents node, the window is still responsive while the documents are still loading. The Team Explorer window operates similar to a web browser. You have a back button, forward button, home button, and a refresh button. The back button will take you to the previous window, and the forward button will take you to the next window. At any time, you can click on the home window to go back to the home screen. You can also click the refresh screen if you want to update the current screen. Now select the Work Items link from the Team Explorer home view. The Work Items view shows the favorite queries for the logged in user and the team. And from that window, you can add a new work item or add a new query. If you click the little chevron next to the new work item, you can create a specific type of the work item, such as a bug task or other work item types. Click the back button. Now click on the Source Control Explorer link. Notice that the Source Control window will open up. Here you'll see a list of the team projects. You can expand the team projects and you'll see folders or branches. You can select a branch or a folder, and notice when you click on a folder or a branch, the contents of that folder or a branch will show up on the next window. Click on the Settings node. On the Settings view, you can view the Team Project options or the Team Project Collection options. Now click on the back button and click on the Builds node. In the Builds view, you can manage the build definitions and view the build history. Now click the Home button to go back to the Home view. And this concludes exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, My Work. In this video, we'll learn about the new My Work view to manage your active tasks. Now let's switch to our VM. Click on the Team Explorer tab to open Team Explorer. Then click the My Work node on the home screen. The My Work node shows work items in progress, available work items, and suspended work for the currently logged in user. This new workflow uses a task-based development model to help keep team members in sync with each other. Now select the Open Query button under the Available Work Items section. This query shows all the available work items for the currently logged in user. Click Edit Query and notice that the query only shows the work items of type task category. Now let's say that we want to work on one of our available work items. On the work item page, right click on the item that starts with the View New feature and choose Add in Progress option. This communicates the current state of the work item to our team. And this concludes exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, Local Workspaces. This exercise we will learn what is the Local Workspaces feature in Visual Studio 2012 and TFS 2012. And we'll also learn how they improve the offline development experience. Now let's switch to the VM. Open the Fabricom Fiber.callcenter solution from the Dev branch in Source Control Explorer. Now if you don't have the Source Control Explorer window open, you can open it by going to Team Explorer, go to the Home view, and then click Source Control Explorer. Okay, we need to go to the Dev branch and open the Fabricom Fiber.callcenter solution. Prior to Team Foundation Server 2012, source control operations were performed exclusively on the server, so working in a disconnected offline scenario wasn't easy. To improve the development experience for smaller teams and projects, local workspaces have been introduced to provide a more client-centric workflow, a style of version control often described as modify, merge, commit. Server-based workspaces, which are better suited for larger projects, can still be used. Load the Manage Workspaces window by typing Workspaces into the Quick Launch search box. Select the Workspaces command link. In the Manage Workspaces window, select Add button to start creating a new workspace. In the Add Workspace window, select Advanced button to see available options. Locate the Location Workspace property. By default, new workspaces will use local workspaces, but you can choose to create a server-based workspace if desired. Close the workspace windows by pressing the Escape key twice, or clicking the Cancel button. In Solution Explorer, expand both the Fabrica and Fiber.web project and then Content folder. Single-click the full calendar.css file to view its contents. Note that the file is loaded in the CSS source editor as expected, but the tab for it is shown on the right-hand side. This new tab type is called Preview tab. As you single-click on other files or use the navigation keyboard keys, the Preview tab contents will be replaced with the most recent selection. This solves the issue with filling the real estate area for the tabs really quickly. And at the end, you'll go to the window menu and click Close All Documents. But we no longer have that issue with Visual Studio 2012 because of this feature. You can also promote the Preview tab to a regular tab by clicking on this icon or double-click on the file. Now make a change to the full calendar.css file. Notice that the file is checked out, but keep in mind that this has only been done in the local workspace. Other team members will not see that you're working on this file. Two of the major benefits of the local workspaces are the disconnected offline work scenario is greatly improved, and it is much easier to use external tools to work with files in source control. To demonstrate both of these benefits in action, let's proceed by stopping the Team Foundation server side in IIS. This will simulate a scenario where you are working offline. Load the IIS manager. From the Start, Administrative Tools, Internet Information Services IIS Manager. Expand the VSALM node and the Sites node. Now select Team Foundation server side, and in the action pane click Stop. Return to Visual Studio, go to Team Explorer and load Source Control. Click the Refresh button and notice that the window is now disconnected from the server. Even though we are now in a disconnected state with Team Foundation server, we can continue to do work. Right-click on the Content folder in Solution Explorer and select Open Folder in File Explorer. Add a new file into the Content folder by right-clicking on the blank area and select New Text Document. In Windows Explorer, right-click on the site.css file and click Open with Notepad. In Notepad, change the body style color to red. Save the file and close the file. Note that Visual Studio detected the change to the file and that the file was not read-only as it would have been in the case of a server-based workspace. And this is the end of exercise number 3. Exercise number 4, pending changes. In this exercise, you will learn about the new pending changes view within Team Explorer. Now let's switch to the VM. Go to Team Explorer Home and select pending changes. In the pending changes window, we can see that the 2 changes made to existing files in the previous exercise automatically showed up under the included changes section. In the excluded changes section, there is a detected change that was not automatically marked as an included change. Select the detected changes link. In the Promote Candidate Changes window, you can see the addition of the new text document. Select the Promote button to move it to the set of changes we want to include in the next change set. You should now see 3 included changes. Notice that the checked-in button is disabled. The reason it's disabled because we're working in a disconnected state. Now let's go back to IIS and turn on the Team Foundation server side. Go back to Team Explorer and hit refresh. Notice that we're online again and the check-in button is enabled. And this is the end of exercise number 4. Exercise number 5, suspend and resume code reviews. In this exercise, we'll learn about the new suspend and resume functionality. We will also learn about the new code review feature. In most companies, it's inevitable that programmers have to switch tasks before finishing the one they are working on. Of course, developers don't want to pollute the code in source control with incomplete and untested code, assuming it compiles. In the previous versions of TFS, this scenario was addressed with shelf sets. Even when the quality of the code doesn't meet the team's standards, the code can still be saved on the server by shelving it. And later on, the developer can unshelve the code to resume the work. TFS2012 handles the above scenario better with the suspend and resume feature. In addition to creating a shelf set of changes, some other data like breakpoints and tool window positions are also saved locally. I will talk more about the code review feature as known as peer review later on. Now let's switch to the virtual machine. We begin this exercise in the same state that we ended the previous exercise. Load the My Work window in Team Explorer to view the work that is in progress. As part of this scenario, imagine that we also have some other debugging tool windows open, and we have a breakpoint in one of the files. I'll add a breakpoint in one of the classes, let's say home controller, just anywhere in the class. And I'll open the immediate window as well. So it's under debug, Windows, immediate. Now imagine that your boss asks you to stop working on the current task and work on a higher priority bug instead. We currently have a lot of time invested in getting Visual Studio debugging tools in place, and we would like to be able to return to the current context after the bug fix is complete. So now we'll press Ctrl+Shift+S to save all files, or click this button. Then in Team Explorer, click on the Suspend button. Now notice that the comment field has been pre-populated with some text. The reason behind this is because we have a work item already open. Now we can modify this field if you want to, but I'll just leave it as is and click the Suspend button. Now let's clear all the breakpoints by pressing Ctrl+Shift+F9 and then select Yes to confirm the action. Now we're gonna change the current layout. Just to prove that the resume functionality will restore us to where we were. So we'll close all windows and we will reset the layout. Notice that the suspended task is available under the suspended work. Now I should be ready to work on the other bug I have to fix. So I'll go to the search work item and type Canadian. Now this search box will perform a search of all work items in the currently selected team project. This quick search functionality searches the team project title, description, repro, steps, fields by default. You can also click the drop-down arrow to show your search history and to add search parameters for metadata such as work item type or whom the work item is assigned to. Double-click on the bug with the title Customers with Canadian Addresses Not Displaying Properly. In the window displaying the form for the bug, select the task link to view the linked work item. Note that there are two child tasks. Imagine that other team members are tracking these tasks already, but that we know of another problem related to the parent bug that also needs to be fixed. Select the New button in the Task section of the form to create new child task. For the new linked work item, select Link Type of Child, Work Item Type of Task, enter a title of Fix Regex for Zip Code Property, and then click OK. Assign the new task to Julia. And hit Save to save the work item. Now if we go back to Team Explorer and hit the back button to go to My Work, notice that the task we just created is available under Available Work Items. Now we would like to start to work on that task, and we would like to let other team members to know that we work on this task. So what we do is we right click on the task and we select Add to In Progress. Now let's start fixing the bug. We'll go back to Solution Explorer, expand the Data Access Layer project, expand the Models folder, and open the address file. Let's assume the fix is the commented line. Save the file. Now that the fix has been made, let's ask Cameron to perform a code review on the changes to make sure things look correct. To do so, we go back to Team Explorer under My Work and we click Request Review. We'll type the name of the reviewer and click Enter. In the description field, we'll type, please check my regular expression. And hit the submit request button. Now we'll switch users and log back in as Cameron. Open Visual Studio 2012. Go to Theme Explorer, My Work, down to the Code Reviews section, and I want to filter by incoming requests. Double-click on the task. This is a very informative view for Cameron. He can accept or decline the code review request. He can add more reviewers to the code review request. He can check the related work items. He can check the comments made by Julia or whoever requested the code review. Add more comments. And he can also compare the shelved version of the code with the checked-in version. So Cameron decided to accept the request. Then right-click on the address.cs file and hit compare to compare the shell version with the checked-in version. We are now viewing the changes using the default side-by-side comparison mode. Red background colors represent changes in the old version on the left, and green colors represent changes on the new version to the right. Now the legend is available at the bottom of the comparison view. As I mentioned, this view is called the side-by-side mode. Now let's check what other display modes are available. To do so, click on the Compare Mode drop-down button. Let's try some other display modes. This is the inline mode, left file only, and right file only. Let's assume that we agree that the changes are correct. So go ahead and add a review level comment to that effect by hitting the reply link underneath Julia's message. Looking good. And select save. Note that the new comment has the text unsent next to it. The comment will not be sent until Cameron is done with the review. Now Visual Studio 2012 and TFS2012 allows the developer to annotate individual files and block of code with comments. In the dev view, use the mouse to highlight the zip code property name. Right click, add comment. In the comment box, enter consider renaming to postal code and then select save. Now select the Send Comments button at the top. Now clicking the Send Comments button doesn't indicate that the reviewer has finished the review task. It just sends the comments that the reviewer made back to the developer so the developer can work on the comments that has been sent to him while the reviewer is still working on his task. So now to finish the task, we click on Send and Finish. Now to end the code review task, we click on the drop down of the Send and Finish link and we select the Looks Good menu item. I'm still wearing Cameron's hat. If I go down to the code review section and I'm going to change the filtering criteria to the recently finished. Now notice that the code review task we just finished is listed there. Now let's switch back to Julia. So I'm going to take off the reviewer hat and wear the developer hat again. Now I have Julia's view. And because I still have the My Work item window open, I'm just going to hit the refresh button. Now open the code review work item. Note that Cameron finished his review and had comments. For this scenario, let's say that we are done with the code review process. Select the close link and choose the complete option. Now that we are confident that we have fixed the high priority bug, we can check in the changes. Select the check-in links to load the pending changes and hit the check-in button. Now we can return to the code that we were originally working on before we got interrupted by our boss to fix the bug. To do so, we will go to the My Work view and right-click on the suspended work and select Resume. Notice that the document windows and the tools windows, as well as their positions, are restored to the state that we left them in when we suspended the task. Although you won't notice in this virtual machine, had you been using multiple monitors with Visual Studio 2012, you would have also noticed that all the tool windows would be open on their respective monitors as well. And this concludes exercise number 5. Exercise number 6, merging. In this exercise, we will take a look at the new compare dialog to compare conflicted versions of the code during the code check-in. We will also learn about the merging code process in case of a code conflict. Now let's switch to the virtual machine. You should still be logged in as Julia from the previous exercise. Open Team Explorer and then click on Pending Changes. You should see 3 files under the Include Changes section. Open the site.css file by double-clicking on it. You may recall that we previously changed the body color property to red. Now we will take a look at what happens if another user makes a different change to the same file and then checks it in. Switch users to log in as Cameron. Load Visual Studio 2012 and open the Fabricom Fiber.call center solution from the Dev branch in Source Control Explorer. In Solution Explorer, open the site.css file. And make a change to the file. Save the file. Then let's check in the changes. Now to check in the changes, you can either right-click on the site.css file and choose check in, or go to Team Explorer, pending changes, and hit the check-in button. And you should get the change set number to indicate a successful check-in. Now let's switch back to Julia's view. Go to Solution Explorer, right-click on the project and get latest. In the site.css file, note that the body font size property has been updated with Cameron's change, but that we also still have our current change where we updated the color property to red. This demonstrates that whenever possible, TFS2012 and Visual Studio 2012 attempts to auto-merge changes rather than needing the user to be involved with the merge process. This can save several steps when compared to previous versions. Now let's go back to Cameron's view and make a change to force the manual merging process. We'll change the color to be black. Save changes. Right-click on the CS file and click check-in. Then hit the check-in button. Switch back to Julia's view. Right-click on the project, get latest version. TFS and Visual Studio 2012 is unable to make the decision of which version to choose, whether it's Cameron's version or Julia's version for that line of code. So this window will pop up to allow Julia to do the merge manually. So the options she has are to merge changes and merge tool, take the server version, or keep the local version. Taking the server version indicates that she wants to take Cameron's version of the code, while keeping the local version is indicating that she wants to keep her code. But we will click the merge changes in the merge tool. Okay. Click yes to close the site.css file. The new merge process also uses the integrated diff viewer. By default, the merge view uses a side-by-side view to show the changes. Note that you can see the server version on the left has a black color. The local version to the right has a red color. And the result below currently shows the original color. Let's go with the server version by clicking the checkbox and then click on Accept Merge. Keep in mind that the merge has been done on Julia's machine, and Julia still needs to commit her changes to the server for her code to be saved and shared with other team members. And this concludes exercise number 6 and the lab. In this lab, we learned how TFS 2012 and Visual Studio 2012 make developers more productive. We learned the new look of Team Explorer. We learned about the new My Work view. We learned about how TFS 2012 handles local workspaces. We learned about the pending changes view. We also learned about the new suspend and resume feature and how we can code reviews with TFS 2012. And last but not least, we learned about the merging process and the new merging dialog. At this point, I would like to thank you for watching this video.